But first, hugely significant news coming out of Everton, who have held talks with David Moyes over a return to the club after sacking Sean Dyche just 3 hours before their FA Cup tie against Peterborough this evening.
Yeah, Moyes could return to the club as soon as this weekend. Dyche's exit comes after a run of one win from their last 11 games. It's left Everton a point above the Premier League relegation zone.
I think we always thought it was coming once we knew that the owners were looking at the situation after the defeat to Bournemouth, Mike. And on top of that, we knew as well that they've been speaking to potential replacements, notably in Graham Potter as well. What we probably didn't expect was for it to be so close to kick-off before Everton eventually announced that they were going to be changing their manager. But that confirmation did come. In that statement, they said Everton Football Club can confirm that Sean Dyche has been relieved of his duties as senior men's first-team manager with immediate effect. Ian Wone, Steve Stone, Mark Howard and Billy Mercer have also left the club. The process to appoint a new manager is now underway and an update will be provided in due course. Under-18s head coach Leighton Baines and club captain Seamus Coleman will take charge of first-team affairs on an interim basis. So don't forget as well, Sean Dyche also took Everton training this morning ahead of this cup tie against Peterborough United, and also did his usual pre-match news conference as well, where he was questioned quite openly and rigorously really about his future and what exactly the situation was in terms of the ownership at that point and what they'd said to him with that news coming out that they were looking at his situation and debating whether or not to change the manager. But now they've ultimately taken that decision, and it has been confirmed by Everton that Sean Dyche leaves his position as the Everton manager. He should also be thanked, though, when you look at what happened last season and all that he had to deal with off-the-field matters with the takeover pending and takeovers falling through, and of course the punishment, the 8-point deduction for PSR breaches as well. Yet Everton finished on 40 points. It would have been 48 without those points deductions as well. And the previous season, of course, staying up on the final day with that victory here at Goodison Park against Bournemouth. But ultimately, this season, certainly from an Evertonian point of view, the results have not been good enough. They've carried little goal threat and they've not been entertained.
And he was sacked so close to the game that Dyche's notes were included in the match programme. Leighton Baines, who was in joint charge tonight with Seamus Coleman, revealed he only found out the news today and that Dyche picked the team. Now, former Everton forward James McFadden told Sky Sports he was shocked by the timing, but isn't surprised by the decision.
I had a feeling it was coming. I think the timing, with being the day of a game, is slightly strange, but the pressure's been mounting. Results haven't been great, performances haven't been great. So ultimately, I think there's been uncertainty there anyway, with Sean Dyche's contract coming up in the summer, and with the the new ownership group. I can't say I'm surprised, just maybe with the timing, but I'm not surprised with the decision. I think that overall Sean Dyche has done a good job at Everton, and you have to feel sympathy because it's tough to work under those conditions. However, I think that results could have been better, and I think that it's just the nature of football. If your results aren't there, then more often than not, then the manager gets changed.
Who next then? Who would you want to see in charge?
Well, obviously, the glamour name is Jose Mourinho, which has been mentioned. I think that David Moyes is definitely going to be up there, thereabouts. And potentially Lee Carsley, a former player, done a great job with England under 21s, and obviously stepped into the breach to manage England as well. So I think out of those three, I wouldn't have too many complaints.
So, as we mentioned earlier, Everton have held talks with Moyes over a return to the club. He managed the club between 2002 and 2013, and along with Jose Mourinho, he's the bookies' favourite to succeed Dyche. Now, Mourinho hasn't been contacted by the club, and he was sacked by Everton's owners, the Friedkin Group, last January from his job as Roma manager. Who do the fans want?
Not just by the points tally, but it's the general play. It's the lack of goals and it's the lack of creativity that, he hasn't been able to find a way to sort that out. And I think he admitted that himself. He couldn't do any more. He's done a good job previous seasons, but this season he just couldn't take us any further.
Do you want Jose at your club?
No, not a chance on earth would I want him anywhere near my football club. He is just continually a whirlwind of destruction everywhere he goes, and it just seems to be getting worse for him all the time. And he's already worked with the Friedkins. You know, he had a good start to life there, won them a European trophy, but it just tailed off, and I feel like Roma are still paying for that. So no, he's not someone I would want anywhere near the club.
Would you want David Moyes back?
David Moyes is a little bit different because I think obviously, you know, he was at Everton before. He's still got that great affection for Everton. And I think that him working in the Premier League, obviously up till the end of last season, he's proven that he's still a good manager. It would have to come with caveats. And I think those caveats are that it would be a short-term deal that would maybe only last for 18 months tops. I think Everton fans are ready now for someone who's going to build the football club. That's why I think a lot of fans were disappointed that it never went any further with Graham Potter. I think we're ready now for that next step. We can't keep doing what we're doing, which is appoint a manager to keep us up and then get the next one then when that stops working. So I do feel like that's the kind of manager Everton want. But if the Friedkins do bring David Moyes in, then, you know, the same way they've brought Ranieri in at Roma as well, that's sort of like for a lot of Everton fans, I think that's like a warm blanket just to keep everyone cozy for the next few months to hopefully get us away from the relegation zone. But it would be difficult to convince some fans, I must say.